Hello and welcome back. My name's Jess and I'll be taking you through 4 amazing ways you can use the newest tool on Notion as a real estate agent, the Notion button. I'm going to be working directly on the Ultimate Agent Hub, which is a Notion template that I've created for real estate agents using Notion that really encompasses everything that you need as a real estate agent. So here on my main dashboard, I have an overview of my day. I have today's follow-ups, today's tasks, today's habit checklist, a little calendar. I also have my active listings here at the bottom and my pending listings as well. Since this is the main page that I would be opening up when I open Notion, the button actually gives me a way to quickly add a task, quickly add a lead, quickly add a note directly on the main page, and it'll be filed away in the appropriate database that lives in one of these other dashboards, right? So what I'll do before I go into these different ways to use the new button feature is I'll go over what the button feature is. If you don't need a refresher on the button feature, you can fast forward to the first way that you can use the button as a real estate agent. So I'm going to go / and I'm going to type button. So this is the new feature, button, run custom automations with a click. So this is what's so cool is now you can actually create certain automations with Notion through the use of this button. So let's go in and see what this button can do for us. You can insert blocks directly on the page. So on the page where the button is located, you can insert a block of whatever it is you want. It could be text, a checklist, a database. It could be a variety of things, right? So a block would just be whatever you insert into that block would appear onto your page. You can add page to a database. So this is mostly the feature that I would make use of with the button. Super powerful to create new tasks in your task manager, to create a new lead in your CRM, to create a new post to make in your social media manager, etc. So this would be the one that I would be using most often. And edit pages in. So you could, again, within a database, change the property of specific pages within the database. So let's say, for some reason, all my properties have sold. I can create a button that changes the status of all my properties to sold. So that's an example of how I could use the edit pages in a specific database. All right. And then these two last ones they're not automations per se, they're just events that can happen after Notion has completed that button action. So it can either show you a confirmation to make sure that you do want to make that change, or it can also open the page, and you can actually create a multitude of steps within one button. So one button can insert a block and add a page and edit a page and show confirmation and open a page. So you can combine these to do whatever you want within constraints of these elements here. All right, I'm going to do 4 ways in which you can use the button as a real estate agent. So let's go with way number 1, which would be to create a new task in your task manager. So just as a refresher, we have the task manager here. So this is one of the dashboards within my workspace. All right, so this is my task manager. It is a large database with all of my tasks. Now, when I'm on my main page and I would like to quickly create a task for myself. So let's say I'm on the road. You can also use this on the mobile Notion app. So let's say I'm out and about doing showings and I think of a task that I need to put into my task manager. I can quickly, with the press of a button on my main page, create a new to-do for myself. So what I've done here, let me recreate this just so you guys can see. So I'm going to do it right underneath the button that I've already created, okay? So here I'm going to press /, which is how you insert a block. I'm going to be inserting a button in this case. So I'm going to type button. There we go. Now, when I click this button, I want a new page to be created within my task manager. So I'm going to click add page to. Which database do I want this page to be added to? I want it to be added to my task list database. I'm going to leave the name of the task empty because that's going to be for me to complete when I create my task. I'm also going to edit the status property to do because it's going to be a new task that is not in progress, it's not on hold, it's not done, it's a to-do task. So the status should be to do. Is there anything else that I want to change? Not particularly. These are properties that I will be able to edit depending on what the task is. So that's it. But I'm also going to add another step, which is to open the page that I've just created so that I can go in and add any notes, or change any other properties. So I'm going to add another step and I'm going to say open page. Open the new page that's just been added. So I'm going to click on that and there we go. Do I want the page to be opened in center peak, side peak, or full page? You can specify that if you like. I'm going to leave it as is and I'm going to call this new button new task to do. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to add a little emoji. That's it. Done. And there's my button. So I'm going to test this by clicking on it. Here's my task. So let's say the task is go shopping for a new car. Let's say that's one of my tasks. Go shopping for a new car. I'm going to assign that to myself. I'm going to create a deadline of 3 weeks from now. I'm going to make it medium priority. And of course, the status is to do because automatically that's what we've set up on the button. All right. So if you do want to go in and edit certain things, such as in this case, we wanted to put a title on it, we wanted to edit certain properties, you'll want to add that second step in the button that says open the new page added. Otherwise, the task would just get created, but it would be untitled, it wouldn't have any information on it. Now, if I go into my task manager, I should see that task. And it says go shopping for a new car, so we're good to go. The second way that you can use the button feature on Notion as a real estate agent would be to create a new lead or a new contact. So this is something that was requested and suggested by one of the users of the Ultimate Agent Hub in our private Facebook group. So I wanted to create that for you guys today. So again, same concept. These are all of my clients or leads. So if I go into my all client database, all of my clients are here. This is my CRM of all my contacts. I have them separated here as the buyer CRM and as the seller CRM. And what I'll do here is I'll create 2 separate buttons, one to indicate a new buyer lead and one to indicate a new seller lead. So I'm going to, again, add page to the all client and lead database. Client name is going to be empty and status is going to be new lead. Okay. And obviously I can change that if I wish, but for now that's what I'm going to leave it as. These are all things that I can specify once I open the page. So what I'm going to call this is new buyer lead. And then add another step would be open the new page added. And this is the other property that I would be changing here. Client type would be a buyer. Okay. So this is a new buyer lead. I'm going to have client type populate as buyer because that's how it's going to be automatically going into my buyer CRM, which is a filtered view of the all client database that only shows me the buyers. And then if I had put seller here, I would see it in my seller CRM, which is a filtered view of the all client database that shows only the sellers. Okay. So there we go. New buyer lead, client name we don't know yet, status is a new lead, client type is a buyer. Done. And I'm going to actually duplicate that. So here, instead of recreating this button, I can just duplicate it like I just did and just edit it here. So I'm going to call this new seller lead. I'm going to change this color to green because that's what I've been doing. I've been making my sellers green and my buyers blue. I'm going to change this to seller, still a new lead, and open the new page added. There we go. So now I have two buttons here at the top, new buyer lead and new seller lead. And essentially, if I create a new seller, all I need to do, if I'm on the go and I want to create a new lead in my CRM, all I need to do is click on the appropriate button on my home dashboard here. So let's say I have a new buyer lead. I click new buyer lead. I write his name. Let's say his name is Drake. And then I can basically add in the appropriate information, put in his email, phone number, if I'm getting it on the spot, and whatever other information I want to input. Now, if I go into my buyer CRM, I should, in theory, see him right there. There he is, Drake, new lead. And if I change the next follow-up to today, for example, I will see it on my homepage as a follow-up that I need to do on this day. Okay. The next way that we can use the Notion button would be for the daily habit checklist. All right, so essentially this is coming from the habit tracker. So if I go into my habit tracker here, I have a database down here, which makes me check off every habit that I have in a day. And every single day, I can create a new entry in my database. It'll auto-populate with today's date, and I can check off again all of these checkboxes, and it'll give me a score for the day, depending on how many of these checkboxes I've managed to check off that day. So, this is where this is coming from. If I click here, new day, it'll bring up a new little checklist, which is coming from that database. So now that I've created a new day, you'll see May 4th. Now, if I go into my habit tracker, I will see that I've created a new entry for May 4th, okay? So I just created a button that makes it nice and easy to create a new day every day for you to go on and check off. And actually, this little gallery view will only display today's date. I've put a filter here that says date is today. So it won't show me March 15th, it won't show me April, it'll just show me May 4th, which is today's date. And so now I can go off and check everything off right on my main page without having to go into the other dashboard. Now, the way that I created this, easy enough, actually, it's essentially the same concept, is when button is clicked, add a page to the daily habit tracker database, and I leave everything else blank. I don't change anything else because I want to be able to check those off myself as I complete the tasks. All right. Another way you can use the button would be to create a new content idea. So let's say here in my social media planner, I want to create a new idea. You can see here that I have a database of all of my content plans, and I have my content calendar, which also populates from these dates here. And that's how the calendar populates with different content pieces. You need to have systems that allow you to easily input ideas that are in your head or things that are happening, easily put that into your databases so that you're not forgetting anything. Nothing will be lost. Nothing is going to slip through the cracks, right? So let's say I'm coming up with a new content idea. So I'm going to /button. Again, I'm going to add a page to my content planner. I'm going to leave the name blank. Status will be idea. Do I want to change anything else? Not for now. And add another step would be open the page again. New page added. There we go. And then the new button is going to be called New Social Post Idea. There we go. I think I'm just going to move this over here because it feels out of place there. So there we go. I've created a little button right there, which I can click. And there we go. I've created a new post idea, which I can write, walk around my city showing the 5 best coffee shops, for example. Date to post, I can put a date in there. Social platform, whatever you want, Instagram Reel, for example. And there you go. You can add in more ideas that you have about this post. And voila, I'll close this up. It looks like it's vanished, but if we go into our social media planner, we will see that our idea shows up right here. Walk around my city showing the 5 best coffee shops. There we go. All right, I said that I was only going to present 4 ways to use the Notion button, but I have another bonus one for you guys. So let's say I want to create a button that does multiple things when I launch a listing. So I'm going to go into my seller CRM and I'm going to choose Selena Gomez. I'm going to open this up in full page so you guys can see. We have a client here who's a seller. She is selling this property, 665 Home Run. Now, let's say that every time I want to launch a listing, I can just, with the click of a button, create a new checklist of things to do. So these could all be database entries in the task manager. And when we click the button, these tasks automatically appear in that task manager. So each of these can become its own button, right? So I'm just going to do the just listed one so you guys have an idea of how you can do this on your own workspace. So / type in button. Now, I'm going to add pages to, okay? So I'm going to call this launch listing. So as soon as I list this property, what do I want to happen? I want these 3 tasks to be created inside my task manager. And of course, these are just examples. Whatever it is, whatever tasks you have when you launch a listing, those are the ones that you would be putting in here. So add a page to my task list database. The task is going to be called, for example, install for sale sign, edit another property. So related client would be this page, right? Because you want the related client to be Selena Gomez or whoever it is that you're working with. So because I'm on Selena Gomez's page, that is the page that I want to be related to this task. Because let's say I have multiple install for sale signs for multiple different clients. I want to be able to track which client is this for, which client am I doing this task for. So it'll be important that this does get inputted with the click of the button. Otherwise, you'll just have install for sale sign in your task manager and you won't know for which client it is, okay? So related client is this page. And then status would be to do, okay? And then again, I can do the same thing for all of my tasks. So with the click of that one button, I can create multiple tasks for myself, okay? Add another step. And in this case, I don't think it's necessary to open the page unless there are other properties that I think that I might need to edit. But generally speaking, if my systems are consistent and I generally have the same task for each client or each seller that I'm launching a listing for, then that may not be necessary, okay? So add another step, add pages to. Again, you know what? I'm going to actually just duplicate this. It'll make things much easier. Duplicate below, and again, duplicate below, because I have 3 tasks that I wanted to add. This one will be called post listing on MLS, and this one will be called post open house. And you know what I can do here is add step below, show confirmation. Are you sure you want to continue? Okay. Now, what else happens when I launch a listing? Well, I need this status here to change automatically to live listed for sale. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is add another step. I'm going to say edit this page, edit property, status is going to change to live listed for sale. And finally, I'm also going to be creating a new Facebook, Instagram post for this new listing. So add another step would be add a page to my content planner database, add a page. I'm going to say new listing post. I'm going to make it creating or filming, and then open the new page added in content planner, because I'm going to need to go in and edit the name of this post, add any details, add when I'm going to be posting this, etc. So I'm just going to open that new page so that I can clarify whatever needs to be done there. And that is it. So with the click of this one button, all of these steps are going to automatically be completed. So I'm just going to click done here. Now, let's see if my new button works. I'm going to click on my button, launch listing. Are you sure you want to continue? Continue. So we see that this is the last step here. So I'm going to say new listing post. It was 665 home run. I want to post this on Saturday, and I'm going to be posting it on Facebook, for example. There we go. I'll close that up. And now I do see that my tasks have been added to my task manager. See, this is just a small view of my task manager, which only includes the tasks related to this particular client. But if I were to go into my full task database here, I will see these 3 tasks that have just been added for Selena Gomez: host open house, post listing on MLS, install for sale sign. Those have all been added to my task list. And what I could have done as well is actually put a deadline of today. So let's go back there and see if I can do that. That way they will show up in my tasks to do today. Okay, so let's go back. Seller CRM. I'm going to select Selena Gomez. Oh, and look at that. My gallery of active listings, it has just popped up in there because the status is now live listed for sale. This is awesome. This is so cool. Don't need to do anything but click a button and all of these things magically change within your Notion workspace. Okay, so let me just see here if I can go in and change the date. I would like to set the deadline to today. So every time I click the button, the deadline for that task is going to be today. Because when you're launching a listing, you need to act quickly, right? You need to install that for sale sign. You need to post listing on MLS, and you need to start looking at hosting your open house basically right away. So I'm going to edit the deadline for today on each of these. I'm going to change this to plan to host open house. Okay, perfect. Done. I'm just going to delete these ones that were created because these ones don't have that deadline. So I'm going to delete those, click on it again, launch listing, continue. I'm going to delete this one because I have already created a post for this, but I just wanted to go back and show you that these tasks will show up right here. Okay. Host open house, post listing on MLS, install for sale sign. And if I open any one of these, I will see that the related client is Selena Gomez. Okay. Very cool. I hope that doesn't overwhelm you too much. Once you get the hang of this, I think this will accelerate your process so much and make your systems so much more efficient and just make your life a lot easier. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there are other ways that you have thought of using the Notion buttons. The opportunities are almost endless with this, so I would love to know what you guys have come up with. And don't forget to like, subscribe for more of this content. And if you are interested in the Ultimate Agent Hub, you can find the link to that down below as well. And of course, all of the buttons that I've created today are included when you download the template moving forward. So hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.